The old woman was crying on a cold park bench, not loudly, not dramatically, just quiet tears slipping down her cheeks and disappearing into her folded hands. Most people walked past her without slowing down. A few glanced, no one stopped, until one man finally did. And when he asked her why she came to that same bench every single day for 12 years, her answer shattered him in a way he never expected. Every morning at exactly 9:15 a.m., Eleanor took the same city bus. Same route, same seat by the window, same stop beside the small neighborhood park in Ohio. She stepped down carefully, knees stiff, breath shallow, and walked toward a wooden bench under an old oak tree. The paint was peeling. One leg was slightly uneven. It creaked when she sat. But Eleanor loved it, because that bench held the last piece of her heart that hadn't given up. She sat straight, hands folded neatly in her lap, wearing a faded blue coat that smelled faintly of mothballs and memories. It used to belong to her husband. He had passed away years ago, but she still wore it. It made her feel less alone. Around her, life kept moving. Joggers passed by with headphones in. Parents pushed strollers. Teenagers laughed too loudly. Eleanor barely noticed. Her eyes stayed fixed on the path leading into the park. Waiting. At 72, her apartment felt too big and too quiet. The walls didn't talk back. The phone never rang. Holidays came and went like ordinary days. She had one child, a son named Daniel, and he hadn't spoken to her in 12 years. The last time she saw him, he was 19, standing in the doorway with anger written across his face. "You chose him over me," Daniel had shouted. She shouted back, hurt and defensive. Words flew. Pride stood tall. Love stayed silent. Then the door slammed. Eleanor remembered standing there long after the sound faded, convincing herself he would cool off. That time would fix it. Time didn't. Days turned into weeks, weeks into years. She tried calling at first, then writing, then waiting. This bench became her promise. Every day she told herself the same thing. If he comes back, I'll be here. Winter was the hardest. Snow covered the bench. Wind cut through her coat. Her fingers went numb, but she never stayed home. She told herself discomfort was nothing compared to regret. Sometimes people asked her why she came out in the cold. "I'm waiting for someone," she'd say with a polite smile. They never asked more. Inside, she replayed the last argument again and again, every word she should have said, every apology she swallowed. At night, alone in her bed, she whispered into the dark, "I'm sorry, Danny." But apologies don't travel through silence. Marcus noticed her by accident. He ran through the park every morning before work, headphones in, mind racing. At first, she was just another figure on a bench. Then one morning she was shaking, not from the cold, from crying. Marcus slowed down, took his headphones off. Something about her sadness felt heavy, like it didn't belong to just one day. "Ma'am?" he asked gently. "Are you okay?" She wiped her eyes quickly, embarrassed. "Oh, yes, dear, I'm fine." He didn't believe her. He sat on the far end of the bench, leaving space between them. "I'm Marcus," he said. She nodded. "Eleanor." They sat quietly for a moment, watching leaves drift across the ground. Then Marcus asked the question no one else ever had. "Who are you waiting for?" Eleanor's lips trembled. She stared straight ahead as if the answer lived somewhere far away. "My son," she said softly. Her voice cracked on the word. Marcus swallowed. "How long have you been waiting?" 12 years. The number hung in the air. "Does he know you're here?" Marcus asked. Eleanor shook her head. "I don't even know where he is." Marcus jogged home that day slower than usual. That night he couldn't sleep. The image of that empty space beside Eleanor burned into his mind. The next morning he brought coffee. The morning after that, gloves. Soon he brought paint. Eleanor arrived one day to find the bench freshly painted and sturdy again. She smiled for the first time in weeks. Marcus sat with her more often, listened, learned Daniel's name, learned about the boy who used to race bikes down that path and swear he'd never leave his mom. One evening, Marcus made a quiet decision. The next morning at 9:15, Eleanor stepped off the bus like always. But something felt different. Someone was already sitting on the bench. A man, tall, nervous, hands clasped tightly together. For a moment, Eleanor almost turned away. Disappointment hurt too much to repeat. Then the man stood. "Mom?" Her breath vanished. The world went silent. Daniel looked older, thinner. His eyes held years of regret. Her knees gave out. He caught her just in time. "I'm sorry," he whispered, voice breaking. "I'm so sorry I took so long." Eleanor clutched his jacket like he might disappear. "I never stopped waiting," she cried. Daniel sobbed into her shoulder. People around them slowed. Some stopped. No one spoke. Later, Marcus watched from a distance. He wiped his eyes and walked away quietly. Some benches aren't just wood and paint. Some are promises. And sometimes love really does come back, right on time.